What up? This is Coach Liebs, and welcome to Wide Receiver Film Room Episode 8. This episode is featuring Tampa Bay Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans and his Week 3 performance against the New York Giants. This was a disappointing loss for the Bucs, but a really great performance by Mike. He finished with 8 catches, 190 yards, and 3 touchdowns in a game that he just absolutely dominated in the first half. Unfortunately, Mike was held to only 1 reception for 44 yards in the second half, but that 1 catch ended up being the biggest play of the game, set his team up for a game-winning field goal that the kicker ended up missing, and it was just a heartbreaking loss. But I really felt like Mike played a great game throughout. I thought he stayed consistent in the second half, and it was a combination of bad quarterback play, some adjustments by the Giants, and some more conservative play calling, I thought, in the second half that kind of cost them the game and was the reason why Mike wasn't as involved in the second half. But I was really proud of the way he played and thought that he really put forth a consistent effort and showed you how he can dominate a game at any point and showed you why he's one of the top receivers in the NFL. So this was a really fun game to break down, a really good one for some of you bigger receivers to model yourself after. So take notes, pay attention. This guy's one of the best to do it in the game right now. Without further ado, Wide Receiver Film Room Episode 8 featuring Mike Evans. All right, here we go. First play of the game. Here's Mike down bottom, just running a little dagger route, a dig route, kind of a speed cut dig route. Does a good job winning inside, leaning back into the defender, and then snapping this off suddenly. Quick completion, good first rep of the game, and just kind of simple technique-wise by Mike. He's got this soft shoe press coverage, got a lot of space. This guy's not getting hands on him at all, and he just gives one hard outside step, gets inside right away. But what you see, what he doesn't do, he doesn't keep drifting inside. He does a good job straightening the stem back out right at the top of the numbers, leaning into the corner until he gets to his depth, and then snapping it off suddenly. Just a little nuance, but you don't want to give away that you're going to break. You want to sell vertical to the last possible second, and that's what he does here. He makes it look like an inside release go ball until the last second. He snaps it off and has a quick completion to start the game off on the right foot. Here's Mike now in the slot as the number 3 receiver, and I just love when teams do this with their best players. When you can move these guys around, it just makes them that much harder to defend, but these guys have to have a certain skill set to be able to run inside routes and outside routes. He's just running a little 10-yard out right here, but pretty simple. You've got an inside leverage Mike linebacker, similar to the first rep. Don't give this route away. Keep your head down, keep your pads low, make him defend the seam right here, and then just snap it off, and there's no way he can defend it. Jameis has got to lead this a little more outside so he can catch it and run with it. But another good completion, getting close to the sticks there for a first down and keep this drive alive. Here's Mike's first touchdown of the game. He's in the slot right here, and this is a pretty good play design by the Bucs. Definitely something that they saw on film. And I think the way that they kind of are trying to bracket this stack, I think they knew that they'd be vulnerable to this slot fade right here, knowing that the defender over Mike was going to play inside leverage, and he just kind of takes off and runs. You can see that he straightens the stem out a little bit. He sprays it outside for the first, 3 or 4 yards, straightens it out a little bit to hold the corner inside, and then just runs to the back pylon. Jameis does a good job putting some air under this and putting it in a spot where Mike can run under it. Just a good competitive catch, really good ball by the quarterback, and putting it in a place where Mike can go get it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's just as simple as having a good play design, scheming these guys up on film, and just throwing it up to your best player and letting them make a play. And Jameis does that. He throws it on time, puts it in a place where Mike can go get it. The defender has no vision on the football. And, Mike's one of the best guys in the league at these jump balls and these fade balls in the end zone. All right, now we got 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Mike's up top here in the slot. All right, this was pretty well defended here by the Giants. The initial underneath defender gets hands on Mike and kind of slows him up. And I just felt like he never really got the top speed here, so didn't really give anything to threaten the corner, and there's really nowhere to go with the ball. Tough situation. He's kind of getting bracketed, getting jammed up at the line, and then he's got a corner who's sitting flat-footed trying to jump this at 8 yards with some cushion. And in these situations versus loose coverage, it's imperative that the receiver pushes his depth and runs with speed. You're running full speed as the receiver. The cornerback's backpedaling at 40%. So it's going to be way easier for him to get in and out of break and transition because he's not moving as fast. So you got to try and threaten him, turn his hips, and attack angles. Either give a stem to get him to flip his hips, or just come out with so much speed that he feels scared and gets threatened and has to open up his hips to defend the go ball over the top. Jenkins, the cornerback, was just all over it, kind of squatting on it, and Jameis just kind of threw it outside and threw it away because he was blanketed. Here we go in the red zone, and I just love this play. You're seeing this more and more from NFL teams. When guys are stacking the box down here in the goal line, rather than try and pound your head against it and try and run the ball against a 9-man box, just flip it out there to the edge and let your big body receivers just pound this thing into the end zone. And it's basically a run play where you're flipping it out to a place where there's less bodies. And Mike's in a stack right behind Chris Godwin. Chris does a good job blocking that point man, and Mike's just going to walk into the end zone untouched. So just give the ball to your most competitive guy and let him go run into the end zone and reach for it at 3-4 yards out. Good play design here, and something that I'm a really big fan of. I'm a really big fan of letting physical receivers set the tone on the edge. Physical receivers on the edge can really make it easier for teams to run the ball and take the game away from the guys in the trenches. If you have a stacked box, whatever, you can still get the same conservative run plays, get 4 or 5 yards at a time, but just count on your receivers to be physical on the edge and kind of work with more space out there. That's what the Bucs do here, and that's Mike's second touchdown of the game. All right, here we go. Another good play design here by the Bucs. Okay, the Giants are in cover 6. Okay, what cover 6 means is that it's quarter, half. All right, so to Mike Evans' side here on the bottom, they're playing quarters coverage. Okay, you got a low safety here over the tight end. His read is he's reading the tight end. And if the tight end blocks, he's going to be an extra defender in the run game. If the tight end runs vertical, he's going to play him like man-to-man. All right, this corner's playing outside leverage because Mike has such a tight split, which is by design. And they know that this safety is going to be occupied by the tight end. So all Mike has to do is run with speed and win over the top. All right, so I think that the Bucs had this schemed up knowing to expect this coverage. You can see the safety number 21 here. He's going to run with the tight end on this dig route. And now you got Mike with leverage on this skinny post, and it's just stealing, to be honest, versus coverage. Great play design, knowing that you're going to get quarters coverage to Mike's side, knowing that he's going to win the foot race versus the corner, who's got to kind of sit on. You can see the corner's trying to squat on any sort of intermediate breaking route. He's not running with speed over the top to defend the go ball. He's expecting Mike to run a dig or an out, something that's going to break at 12-15 yards, but Mike just puts on the jets and runs right by him. And based on his split, he knows that he's going to have inside leverage on the corner, so he's basically already won. All he's got to do is win with speed, keep his head down, and Jameis has got to throw it to the right spot, and that's exactly what happens. But a really good play design here to beat quarters coverage, and a lot of times, quarters coverage is vulnerable to post over the top when you can run something intermediate to occupy that quarter safety. Stealing right here for Jameis and Mike, and another big play. All right, Mike's third touchdown of the game, and this is my favorite one by far. All right, this is a Bruce Arians special right here. The backside glance post where he wants you at the top to give these rocket steps at the top. See these choppy steps, these aggressive choppy steps to the top, and you're kind of hip shifting back and forth, and it's just like kind of a fast break crossover in basketball. And the defender doesn't know where you're going. He's playing man-to-man coverage, staring at the receiver, and he has to defend an outbreaking comeback. He has to defend a go ball to the back pylon, and Mike kind of gives him the shake at the top, making him seem like he's going to break out, and then he just breaks in right across his face. Jameis throws it on a line, on time, right on Mike's body where he can catch it and be physical with it and get himself into the end zone. Really, really great route by Mike. This is one that I thought was pretty impressive. Just a good job running with speed, get on defenders' toes, give these aggressive rocket steps, these aggressive hip shifts, and then get yourself into the end zone. Again, down bottom, he's going to run another one of these dagger dig routes right here and just rolling it over on the speed cut. And it's just like stealing. I mean, thus far, the Giants haven't made any sort of adjustment. They're playing Janoris Jenkins man-to-man with heavy inside leverage, loose coverage. And, he's just in no man's land right here. Like, what? I don't know what he's defending. I don't know what he hopes to do. But Mike can run every route in the route tree from this position, and Janoris just has to guess. And as long as you have the corners guessing, the receiver should win 100 times out of 100. And this is what's happening right here. Jenkins is on an island. He's got no help, and he's got to defend every single route. He's got to defend an out route. He's got to defend a comeback. He's got to defend the go ball. He's got to defend a post. He's gotten beat on a post twice now. And then, similar look is the post route that he's threatened by. But instead of running deep, going to snap this off friendly at about 15 yards and catch the ball right in the void in the middle of the field. All right, here we go now to the second half, okay? 28-25 Bucs. Here's Mike's first target of the second half. And like I said in the intro, I just thought the second half was filled with missed opportunities for the Bucs. Even though they had a chance to win the game at the end, I thought they should have had the game handled, but just filled with missed opportunities. And here's one right here, and Jameis just misses him and throws it out of bounds. But here's the technique by Mike. You're going to get a bail corner right here and see him turn his hips towards the quarterback and give you that blind spot, right? Anytime he turns his hips, you want to chase that near hip, because when you chase that near hip, you get into the corner's blind spot. You see right at the top of this route, Jenkins loses vision on Mike. right? The corner loses vision on Mike Evans and can't see him because Mike does a good job stemming his route outside, chasing his near hip, and then when he gets on his toes, he snaps this off. And Jenkins can't react in time because he literally can't see him. And just like you have a blind spot in your car, when the car is kind of right behind you to the left and you can't see him when you're trying to change lanes, that's exactly what happens to a corner when he zone turns inside and faces the quarterback. And it's essential for every wide receiver. Whenever you get a blind spot, you have to take it. I don't care what route you're running. I don't care what you're doing. That is the most vulnerable spot for a cornerback. And that's what Mike does right here perfectly. He's wide open, just not a great ball by the quarterback. All right, now the next target comes about a minute later, and you can see this was kind of the second half adjustment, just to show you what the Giants did at halftime, I think, where they were like, listen, we're not going to let number 13 just torch us all day. We got to put 2 defenders over them. We got to put 2 defenders over him and make somebody else beat us. So just up top here, you see cover 2. You got Jenkins who can play this kind of trail coverage. He's okay with getting beat deep because he knows he has the safety over the top. So now Jenkins can be a little bit more hands-on. He can play underneath and squat on this stop route right here, and there's really nowhere to go with the ball. And Jameis doesn't even look at him. Jameis has to look on the other side of the field because he reads cover 2 and knows this route isn't going to be open. But, a necessary adjustment by the Giants. You can't just let the best player on the field torch you all game. At some point, you got to make somebody else beat you, make the quarterback throw to his other targets, and that's what they do here to take Mike away. So here's this play right here, 11 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter, and this was the mistake that ends up costing the Bucs the game, in my opinion. You're down in Giants territory, you got a chance to put more points on the board, and Jameis is just going to make a really bad throw on a shallow cross, and it's going to get intercepted. Mike just takes one step and then breaks inside. He's underneath, he's wide open, and Jameis is just, he's stepping up in the pocket. You can see he has no base to him as he's throwing, and he throws it behind Mike, who's open, and the linebacker ends up picking it off. And I think it was this play, this interception, that caused the Bucs to be ultra conservative the rest of the game. Like I said, the next 11 minutes was filled with a bunch of run plays to get them in the red zone, but they kept running the ball, didn't throw the ball in the red zone at all, had to settle for a field goal. Okay, and then they went 3 and out, had to punt. The Giants scored on the next drive, and now all of a sudden, there's a minute left, and the Giants have a 1-point lead, and the Bucs all of a sudden are reeling and have to make something happen. What I am proud of is, what do you do in these crucial moments? You go find your playmakers and go give them a chance to make plays and go find your best players. And here we go, 37 seconds left. Here's Mike Evans down bottom, single coverage against Janoris Jenkins, and he just does a great job winning at the line of scrimmage. He puts his hands up and says, just throw it up. I'm going to go win this game for you. I'm going to go make this play. Throw me the ball. Give me a chance. I'm going to go do this because I'm the baddest man on the field. And Mike does it. Mike does a good job attacking Janoris Jenkins inside. He attacks his short arm inside, runs off the ball, gets on his toes, gives a hard move inside, a hard head and shoulder fake inside. Janoris jumps inside, and as soon as Mike wins over the top, you can see him flash his hands. And this is what great receivers do in the NFL. When a quarterback sees your best player flash his hands in the NFL, you give him the opportunity to win 100 times out of 100. That's why you're paying him millions of dollars. That's why he's considered a top 10 receiver in the league. Go give him a chance to win the game. And that's what Jameis does here. You can't fault the quarterback. You can't fault the receiver. They did what they had to do to win this game. But just cool to see Mike with the confidence. He was shut out the whole second half. No catches, only 2 or 3 targets, wasn't really involved, felt like he was being shut down. He's not hanging his head. He knows it's a crucial moment. I'm the best player on the field still. I'm going to go win this game, and that's what he does. There's 9 seconds left. You're down by 1. It's a chip shot field goal. It's shorter than an extra point. You got a rookie field goal kicker. Here's a chance to establish yourself in this league and win the game for us, and we all go home happy. Unfortunately, the kicker blew the kick. He doesn't make it, and now this great performance by Mike Evans, one that he could have felt really good about, is kind of wasted, and the Bucs are unable to come away with a victory. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way football goes. That's why football is the ultimate team sport. You need every player on the team doing their job at every second, and it only takes one player to lapse for you to lose an entire football game. You got to make that every time if you're going to be a kicker in this league. That's all we've got for Wide Receiver Film Room Episode 8. Like I said, a really great game by Mike Evans. 8 catches, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. A disappointing loss for his team, but one where I really felt like he did everything he possibly could to help his team win. And I hope that this catapults him to stack a lot of these performances on top of each other the rest of the way, and that he can have another all-pro year and prove why he's one of the best receivers in the game. I love the way he plays. I love his physicality. I love his aggressiveness. And I've gotten to know him pretty well as a person. We've had him on Bean Talk. We've had him on the channel quite a bit. And he's a guy that I really root for and hope that he can finish out the season strong. As always, if you guys love this content, please share it with your friends. Feel free to leave comments and tell me what you want to see next. Like it, hype it up. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. For the day-to-day content, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sideline Hustle. We post teach tapes every single day, and that's the most direct way to get in contact with me if you have a question or want to talk about anything. Until next time, this is Coach Liebs signing out, Wide Receiver Film Room, Episode 8. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.